And we're back. It is time for another course preview, and I don't want to hear any shit about I don't play the Zurich. It's got a weird format. Well, that's what I'm here for. I'm going to help you, walk you through it. It's not particularly hard, and just know this. Anytime there's a weird format on DraftKings, whether it's like the President's Cup or the Ryder's Cup or the match play, just know there's an edge because people are like, I can't figure it out. It's so tough, and it's really, really not, okay? It's still PGA DFS. We're still going to be playing a lot of the things we still play. We just got to make a few tweaks in how we do things. I'll walk you through the format, chill the fuck out, get excited for another week of PGA DFS. There's no off weeks, okay? You know when there's an off week? December. That's when there's an off week, when there's no golf tournament. Other than that, I play year-round. If you're not a sweaty tryhard, you might want to fuck off now. What's up, new guy? I'm the Degenerate75. I am a PGA DFS content creator who's been doing this shit a whole long time, and I'm here to help you not suck so bad at it. If you watch this show and you find you like the cut of my jib, I encourage you to come check out the schedule right now. It's Monday. We are doing the course preview, contest selection, and pricing thoughts. And then Wednesday, probably the most popular show, the emergency stream, where we'll have all of the final things you need to consider before making your week-long lineups, a.k.a. kicking the nuts. And you're going to be there 7 o'clock, Lord's time zone as always. And then the biggest edge in PGA, because PGA be hard. You want to play Showdown. Trust me, I do the Showdown Hoedown for round 3 and round 4 every Friday and Saturday night. Come check it out. All right, cool. Let's get going. All right, first of all, this is a weird donkey tournament. I don't know why they're doing this. It's stupid, okay? If you want to get rid of a tournament, don't get rid of the match play PGA. Get rid of this stupid fucking tournament, man. I mean, it's whatever. I don't dislike it. It's just, it's kind of stupid. All right, here you go, new guy. The Zurich Open, which, by the way, used to be a real tournament. I still remember sweating Brian Stewart back in, 2016 or some shit like that. Had some real nice 6s. And I was, just sitting there, how's Brian doing? Okay, those are some real sad days. But they've switched the format here the past few years. Now it's a team event, right? These guys get to team up. If you're one of the top, I think it's top 80 qualifiers or whatever, you get to then go pick a player. So you're going to see some really good players teamed up with some real slapdicks, right? Like old Matthew Fitzpatrick, a.k.a. Jeffrey the Giraffe, who I called, is paired up with his brother, who is just, kind of a meddling player over in Europe. You see this a lot, right? Brooks Koepka used to always play with his brother Chase. It's a chance for a big name to maybe get a friend or a sibling on to a PGA Tour event. So there's going to be a lot of those. And then occasionally you get some super teams. In the past, it's been Xander and Cantlay. This year, it appears as though it's probably going to be Homa and Kawa, Morikawa. And so that's how it works, right? They can team up with whoever they want, but the top 80 guys are get into it, and then they can bring whoever they want. Sometimes they team up with a stud, sometimes they bring a scrub. All right, so out of those 80, so normally, you have basically a 156-person field. This one, you're only going to have 80, but it's really 160, right, because there's 2 of them. So basically, everything's cut in half. So instead of the cut being T65 in ties, it is going to be T33 in ties. So you're still going to have a pretty big cut down after Friday. Now, how do you play team golf? Well, you're probably thinking, is it 4-ball or is it foursome? Well, first of all, let me explain what both of those mean, new guy, and let you know that the answer is both, right? So each Thursday and Friday, they will play a round of foursomes, and then they'll play a round of 4-ball, right? The first day, which will be Thursday, and then the first day of the weekend, Saturday, they will be playing 4-ball, which means every guy plays their own ball, right? And so let's say on the hole, Max Homa makes a birdie and Morikawa makes a bogey, because that's all he ever makes, right? Well, the team, you just take the best one of those 2 scores, the best ball of those 2 in the foursome, in the 4-ball, and you would get a birdie. So they would get a birdie combined there, even though Morikawa got a bogey. That's it, right? If they both make a par, well, then it's pretty fucking simple. They get a par. If one makes a birdie and one makes a par, you get a birdie. If one makes an eagle and one makes a birdie, you get an eagle. You always take the best score of your 2 in the best ball. Friday and Sunday, however, will be alternate shot, which, as you can imagine, is really where the scores are not so good. You're going to see all kinds of 60s and 61s when they're playing best ball, right? But when they play alternate shot on Friday and Sunday, these motherfathers, you're going to see some scores that ain't going to be so good. And this is where round 2 and round 4 is the strategy is really going to come into play on how well these guys mesh together, right? If you have a bomber and then you have a short play guy, I don't think that's a great fit, right? Because every other hole they take turns teeing off. So if it's Denny McCarthy and Cameron Champ or something like that, right? Well, when Denny McCarthy hits his driver, Cameron Champ's going to have like a freaking 3-wood into most par 4s, and he's not used to hitting that far back. He's used to bombing it up there and wedging everything in. So that you're going to see some scores, and they just alternate every other shot. If Denny hits it off the tee and then Cameron Champ hits the second shot, well, then Denny McCarthy would have the third shot and Champ would have the fourth shot, and they just rotate each hole, right? By the way, that's not a pairing. I'm just making up a fucking example, new guy. And that's how it works. So you're going to expect to see scores dramatically lower on Friday and Sunday, right? And you're going to see guys, boat race the course on Thursday and Sunday, or Thursday and Saturday. It won't even matter what the weather is because they'll just be playing the best ball. And they'll really be firing at every pin because you know that, like, even if you fire at the pin that's tucked in a corner and you end up short-siding yourself and get a bogey, it's all right. Your partner's probably at worst going to get a par, so fire at every pin. All right. Now, you can't do that on Friday and Sunday because you're playing alternate shot. You got to play a different game, right? So, I went back and looked. Cantlay and Schauffele, who won this last year, minus 29, they shot an even par round the last round, right? That's how tough it can get an alternate shot. But they shot, like, I think a 60 and a 59 the 2 days of best ball. So that's it, man. That's the format. Now, you're probably thinking to yourself, oh, I know what I'll do. I'll just play Homa and Kawa together, and, like, if they tear it up, I'll get double points. No, you won't, Bob, because DraftKings doesn't allow that. You can only pick one person from the team, right? When you pick that person, the other person is disqualified from being in that lineup, right? So you know, if you pick Homa, you're picking Morikawa. If you pick Morikawa, you're picking Homa. Okay, that's it. That's the whole format. Everything else is the same. Position points are the same. Birdies are the same. Streaks are the same. Bogeys are the same. Everything else is the same scoring that we see every other week in PGA. The only difference this week is they're teamed up when they're doing it instead of just doing it solo. That's it. If that's enough to scare you off, well, then you're a slapdick, okay? There. That is not a reason not to play PGA DFS this week. Let's look at the course for a little bit. The course is TPC Louisiana, another TPC course, Tournament Players Course? I don't even know what the hell it stands for. Actually, wait, I do. It's right here. Tournament Players Club. There you go. See, look at me with all my golf knowledge. All right. This course is a Pete Dye course. And yes, I like to factor in Pete Dye courses. Pete Dye likes to do the same thing on a lot of his courses. And this is another one of those Pete Dye courses. I will warn you, this course is a little bit different than a lot of Pete Dye courses in that it tends to be a little bit longer. It plays over 7,400 yards. Where we see a lot of Pete Dye courses be those tight technical courses that are usually coming in somewhere between 7,000 to 7,200 yards. So this one's a little bit longer, but a lot of that distance is found in the long par 5s. There's 4 of them. And the really long par 3s. From there, a lot of the par 4s are still positional holes that will be built, which will be built around the second shot, right? A lot like we just saw this last week at Harbortown. Once again, the greens will be that Bermuda Poa Trivialis mix. I don't know. I just know it's the same stuff you see at Sawgrass, Scottsdale, Innisbrook, all those courses. It's going to be that. I guess this is just the time of year that kind of grass succeeds. Once again, don't jerk off the grass. You know me. I'm more of an ownership and weather guy. So that's the first takeaway. The second takeaway that I take away from that I'm looking at this course breakdown is all the par 3s come in at over 200 yards. Insane, right? You can see we have a 221, we have a 207, we have a 216, and we have a 215. So yeah, you better. I think that you're going to want to be looking at guys that play long par 3s well, because those are some holes that are going to get you, Bob. They just so happen to be 4 of the 8 toughest holes on the course, right? The other ones, of course, being all the long par 4s. So the longest distance, and you rarely see this, by a landslide, the highest, 29% of all approach shots come from over 200 yards. That's crazy, right? That is a large amount of your shot. So you have got to be good this week at over 200 yards. You've got to be good at those long par 3s. And I think the key here is you need to score well on par 5s. You got to tear up the par 5s this week, especially in a team event where the winning score is probably going to be in the upper 20s. You've got to take care of those par 5s this week. So you're going to want to play guys that can get it done, right? That get it done on par 5 scoring. From there, if you want to look at guys that are good at this putting surface, I think that makes a lot of sense too. The only reason I played Sam Burns last week, other than the fact that he was going to be low-owned, was just he's a killer on this type of putting surface. And, I'm all about strokes gain psychology, and if it makes those guys think they're going to putt a little bit better because the grass is this type, well then so fucking be it. Let's get in there, Bob. From there, the par fours are a mixture. You can see there's actually 4 short par fours, right? Like you're gonna have a wedge in. So as important as this 200 plus is, another really important range, at least for scoring, is going to be this little wedge range of 100 to 125. Which for these guys, shit, what is that? A gap wedge, if even that? A sand wedge for these motherfathers? I think that's going to be a really important distance to sticking it close and getting birdies, because the place to get this course is on the short par fours and on the par fives, and then you try to survive the par threes and the long par fours. That's what this course is, right? That's stuff I'm going to be looking at. Don't even look at the cut line. There is no cut line anymore because, we don't have a traditional cut line with it being pairs. As you can see, as always on a Pete Dye course, it comes down to second shots. It is really important, but it's only about, what is that? About 2.2% more than approach, which is about average. And around the greens, although somewhat, you're going to need to factor it in, not as important as normal, right? If you want to know the historical conditions, this is from 6 or 7 years ago, but you can see that the one thing this course typically has, it's down in Louisiana, and so the course does tend to be pretty soft. They get a lot of moisture down there, a lot of precipitation on the ale. That's my Louisiana voice, by the way. Don't be offended, Louisiana people. If you're offended by that, you had to hate the thumbnail, didn't you? Waterboy, great movie. All right. This course, the one protection it tends to have is it tends to have some wind. So let's just go get an early wind update. As you can see, they're right downhill in southwest New Orleans, right downhill by the river. And the course, it is looking like we might get some winds this week, right? And that's a big protection for this course. It looks like Thursday and Friday there's going to be some winds. I think you want to factor that in. That will protect the course at least a little bit. You can see it's going to get up to the mid 80s both days. So it won't completely dry out, but it also won't be the softest conditions, right? So that is the basic course breakdown. That is a little preview of the weather, and that is some things you should be considering. But we need to talk about contest selection. Let's think about where we're going to get our money in on good contests. But before we do me a favor, go like and subscribe and tell a friend about my channel, man. We're almost at 3,000. Look at that. We're just almost there. I can see it. What the hell is that? Oh, that's 3,000. We're not even a year old and we're almost at 3,000. I appreciate all of you who've helped the channel grow. Continue to do it. Big, more giveaways coming, for the PGA Championship. And once we get to our 1-year anniversary, which is less than 4 weeks away. And yes, giveaways, because we're not fucking poors around here. Okay, let's go look at, what is this? DraftKings contest selection. Let's get over here to the Zurich. And let's see. Okay, first of all, I want to congratulate DraftKings. I get that they have to shrink down the contest a little bit this week because interest isn't going to be as high on a week like this, because a lot of the casuals are like, what the hell? A partner event? I can barely figure out when to buy themselves. All right, okay, whatever. You got to shrink it down. But what drives me nuts is that DraftKings shrinks it down and then doesn't shrink down the first place prize pool, right? You go look at the big $20 this week, the pitch and putt. It's $700,000 prize pool. I get it. You got to shrink it down. But then they give $200,000 to first, which then makes it 28% to first. Fuck that. I don't want to play in that, man. Second place, is only 30%, 37% of first, 37.5% of first. That's just a big drop off. 10th place, 1/100th. I just can't do it. I won't play in that. The big 555 is a third to first. I'm out on that. The big $5 is very solid this week, right? They've made this $5 a really, really good contest. If you're going to spam a bunch of lineups this week, I think this is a pretty good contest to be in. I would say this. If you don't want to put 150 in it, I think you'd be a lot better playing in some single entry stuff than you would tossing 100 or tossing 20 lineups in this, I guess I should say. The $200 single entry, see how it's the prize pool's not as big. It's down from $250 to $150. I get it. But look, at least they properly shrank down first where it's still only 20%. I wish they would just do this to all the contests. This is not a bad one. Second is half of first. 10th place is, what is that? 1/30th, 3%. Basically 3% of first. Not quite the 10% we want, but also not disgusting. Let's see. The 88, 25% to first. It's just too much. For a lot of you like to play in the $20 3 max, or the $3 20 max even, and you can see really good this week. I mean, really good. Just a great structure. I think that's a great contest to play in. My baby. They shrink it down to 40,000, and I wish they would just make this top price 10% of the price pool as opposed to 12.5, but it's still solid. This is the $10 18 max you can never go wrong in. The club twirl is always solid, but I'm telling you, this is a good week. Go play some single entry shit, man. Go play the $5 single entry, the $33 single entry, the $12 single entry, $100 single entries. Those are really good contests, right? Just play in contests where you can max them. If you're playing $20 this week, maybe go look at the $1 20 max. These are really good. surely they're gonna, these three maxes. I love the $3, the $20 three max, the $75 three max, the $8 three max. Very easy to max those because it's only 3 lineups and you're not having to overexpose yourself with too much money, right? Is this a week maybe you should roll it back a little bit and not play as much? I think so. I'm definitely going to play less this week at week long than I typically do, but I'm also going to be in there playing Showdown because I assume DraftKings is going to do Showdown, and if they're going to do Showdown, there's always a bigger edge to be had at Showdown because we're not projecting so much. We actually will know how the course is playing. We will know when people are what their tee times are. We will know who is playing well and who's good bounce back candidates. We'll have all that information. Whereas for week long, we're guessing, and we're guessing with 2 guys, right? So I think the big thing you would want to do this week is I think you really want to pick a narrative. And in a week like this where there is no clear, like we're going to be able to look at stats and here is this guy and this guy is a good fit, I think it's going to be narrative driven this week. And when it's narrative driven, just know that ownership concentrates. There's going to be some guys that are going to be a runaway. I'm talking like, I bet we see people over 35% ownership this week, right? And it'll probably be like 20% Morikawa and 15% Homa, but that's still 35%, right? Because you can only play one of those guys. So you got to add up their ownership to get their real cumulative ownership. And because of that, I think this is a great week to make some pivots because what I'm playing this week is strokes gain, try hard, right? If you don't know, I'm a try hard. I am the definition of a sweaty try. If you're ever to pick up basketball game and you see my ass show up, you'd be like, I don't want to play with that guy because I'm the dude with the wristbands who's going to go hard. I'm going to box out. We're going to be running a 2-3 zone, okay? This is a good week to find those sweaty tryhards at PGA DFS. Those guys that really care about this, right? Not the guys that are just out there to hang out with a buddy. And I want those guys who are going to go out there and grind this event who really give a shit way more than the guys that are like, I just want to go hit some balls with my buddy. So I think this is a great week. If you want a strange narrative, go get the sweaty tryhard narrative. Get the guys who give a big shit about this tournament. Ryan Palmer is the definition of a sweaty tryhard. That, and he's really strategic because he always gets really good guys to team up with him. And that is going to be a narrative that I'm going to play this week, right? And I think another one that will be not used enough is look at guys that are good pairs, right? Guys that have the same type of game. Like Homa and Morikawa, yes, they're definitely the best pairing in this entire tournament, but are they the best skill set combined, right? Like I think that they do tend to be good tee to green ball strikers, so that makes sense. But I'm not convinced that they are the same kind of player 100%, right? I would rather see like 2 short hitters that are really good together, right? Because they're going to be used to playing long second shots for their second. They're going to be used to having immaculate short games, and that they can both putt. So like just for instance, Brian Gay and Denny McCarthy. There you go. Give me those 2 guys together, right? Give me an Adam Hadwin and a Mackenzie Hughes. I would take those 2 guys together, right? Those are some narratives I'm going to be considering this week, right? So let's see if we have pricing up, and poof, like that, they're up. Here it is, 8 hours in the future. I've already played a round of golf. Let's do some pricing thoughts and get this video out. Thanks for getting it out at no reasonable time, DraftKings, you fuckers. All right, as you can see, once again, you're paired with a partner, right? So once you play one of them, you can't play the other one. You can be like, I want to play Xander and Cantlay. You can't do that, bro. By the way, defending champion, so know that. Very excited to see them over 11,000. Well, the way they dominated last year, I think that was essential. You have to put them over 11,000 just to make it where they're not like 45% owned. Because let's face it, they're the 2 best golfers in this tournament. They're teamed up together. They have little man crushes on each other. They enjoy playing together. They're just too damn good, right? Plus, pretty sure their form's both pretty good. They just fucking boat raced HBC Heritage RBC Heritage. what the heck? All right. From there, Homa Morikawa is the next team. Once again, I would have liked to see them over 11,000. I'd like to see these guys around 11.5 and these guys around 11.1. A little soft on the pricing when you just factor in their talent there. But 10.9 still pretty steep. Like, you're going to have a hard time jamming in 2 of these teams, right? You're going to have to be punting with your last 4 spots. I really enjoy that. From there, looks like a pretty big drop to me. Eamon Mitchell, as far as talent goes, being over 10,000, I mean, yeah, they're probably the 3rd best team here, but like that's a noticeable drop-off. I think I'd rather pay the 500 or 700 extra to get up to those guys. Suh and Tigala, okay, I mean, I'm a Tigala slut. I'll be the first to admit it, Bob. But, he's partnering with Justin Suh, and they're in 5 figures. Nah, I don't love it. Seems a little pricey. But I think that they just didn't want the prices to go from 10,400 down to like 9,600 where these guys belong. The Kims, now that's a team I love. That's where they should be priced. Siwoo and Tom, I'm in. I'd love those 2 dudes. Horschel and Burns, a couple sweaty tryhards. When I talk about strokes gained tryhard this week, I think Burns is a Louisiana boy, if you don't know there, brother. And so I like him. And Billy Ho's always a tryhard at shit like this, right? This is why he's so good at match play, so good at President's Cup and stuff like this. He loves these weird formats. That's just a team. That's a GPP play right there, bruh. What do we got? Windy C and Dumpy Bow. I mean, $9,400 for that team. Okay, the talent's falling off quick, Bob. It's falling off real quick. From there, what do we got? Buckley and Spawn. I mean, Buckley played really well, but I mean, it's Hayden Buckley and JJ Spawn. We're paying $9,200. My God, man. Now Montgomery and Kitayama. This is a team that is confusing me, okay, because I just don't think they're a good pair. I actually think they're both really good golfers, but like they do not have complementary games at all. Matter of fact, they're almost opposites of each other. Maybe they're friends and they'll go there and be tryhards, but as far as like playing alternate shot, I don't think these two are a very good pair. And that's something that, when we're looking for things to latch onto, that has got to be something you consider this week. Lipsky and Rye, no thanks. Dahmen and McCarthy? Okay. Wait, this is going downhill quick. I mean, like, let's just look. I'm just looking if anybody else is really mispriced here. Riley and Hardy, take all my money now. Just take it all. Okay, two guys I love to fucking burn money on. Now you're going to put them together. Maybe they'll cancel out, and I'll actually win with them for once. Patton Kazire and Brennan Todd. Now, those are two guys I do think play nicely together. I think that they have corresponding type games. Doc Redman and Sam Ryder. I think they have complementary type games. Okay, this one's a trap. Alex Fitzpatrick and Matthew Fitzpatrick, that's a hard no for me, bruh. Hard no. I cannot believe they're only 8,200. Matthew Fitzpatrick just won the RBC Heritage. That should let you know how DraftKings and the odds feel about Alex Fitzpatrick. He fucking sucks. That's the answer. From there, where are we going? Oh, my God. Lee Hodges and Robbie Shelton are 8,100. Chesson Hadley and Ben Martin are $8,000. I said $8,000. I didn't say $6,000. I said $8,000. All right, here we go. Give me some euros. Dietrich and Perez, I'm in. Hogard and Olesen? Is that the Olesen that got? Is that Thunder Bear, the one that got in trouble? I thought he was going to jail or something. Who do we got from there? Zach Johnson, Steve Stricker. Okay, this is going downhill quick, Bob. Downhill quick. Lauer and Wu. I mean, those guys are just objectively better than Zach Johnson and Steve Stricker. What the fuck are they? 78. Okay. I got to slow down. I'm gonna give myself an aneurysm. Now here we go. Tell me how on earth Steve Stricker and Zach Johnson are more expensive than Ben Griffin and Ryan Garrard? Explain it to me. Or Will Gordon and Davis Thompson. What are we doing? Okay, that clearly they had the fucking interns in. Probably why the prices didn't come out till like 5 o'clock. From there, EVR and DeFew. Oh, I guess they're South African. I'm like, how the fuck are these two together? From there, Grayson Sigg and Bryce Garnett. I don't know about that one. I mean, here we go. Now I'm in. Matt Wallace and Callum Shankwin. Shankwin. He's a Euro, and I'm pretty sure he's a Euro that wins too. And these are just some random tryhards that will go out there and win. Callum Tarrant and Ben Taylor. All right, maybe I'm on Team Euro this week. Euros, maybe that'll be my narrative. Euros like team play more, so I'm going to go with that. Okay, whatever. Wow, Pendrith, how the mighty have fallen. $7,200 with Gligic. Okay, those two make no sense together. This is getting dirty. I'm having a hard time. Okay, Benny Ann and SH Kim seem like a pretty solid team for 7,100 after what we just saw at the 8,000s. Okay, just gonna put that out there. Merritt and Streb, whatever. That seems like a solid pairing as far as like a complementary form of play, but they suck. There's that. Goodness gracious, it's getting ugly quick. Oh, it's getting ugly. You know what I might do? Maybe just, if they're going to do best ball, just go out there and play somebody like Eckroat and Harrington, right? Because here's what I can tell you about Eckroat. He ain't good, but that dude has 8 birdies in him in any given round. That guy he's one of those, there's about 10 guys that can go nuclear hot that otherwise suck, but sometimes can go nuclear hot. Maybe you play them. Who is Ryan? Ryan Armour and Jim Herman together. If I could think of 2 guys that have the exact same game, I couldn't do it. Those guys have the exact same game called They Suck. Let's see. From there, Harrison Endicott. That's my boy. And Aaron Baddeley. Okay. 4 months ago, I would have been into that team. Oh, Cam Young. Check that. Carson. Wah, wah. No, I'm not playing him. Fratelli is broken, man. I've been watching that guy. Hey, Charlie Hoffman and Nick Watney. There you go. You want a punt team that can just roll in some birds? You go with Hoffman and Watney. Now, the day that they have to play alternate shot, yes, they're going to shoot a 79. But that'll be okay because they'll shoot a 58 on the best ball day. Who else do we got? Percy and Paul. Okay, Chalmers. What are we doing? Okay, this is getting real gross down here. Who is Grayson? Grayson Murray's playing with Wesley Bryan? What the fuck? Did they play college together? Grayson Murray's a Georgia boy, isn't he? I don't know what the hell's happening there. Anyways, okay, that is pricing. Very happy that they really bumped up these top two groups. And I honestly, there's only that $500 drop. I kind of would have liked to seen it more like a $900 drop because to me, these two teams are noticeably better than everybody else. And in my opinion, this top team is way more than $200 better than this top team. I think they should be about 11.5 and this team should be about 11, maybe 11. And maybe 10.9's fine and they should just drop everybody else down, right? So that's my only complaints, but I understand that they're already worried about people not wanting to play this week. So if you start making super tight pricing and restricting what people can play, people are going to be like, roar, 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 roar. A lot of barking seals out there. So DraftKings has to do what DraftKings has to do. With that said, do me a favor before you get out of here. Go check out my site, dgen75.com, the fastest growing community out there. We don't give a single pick, but we learn how to play the game, and I have the best tool in all of PGA DFS called the Rosetta Stone when it finally pops up over my shoulder. All right? That has been it. Sorry for the late video. You take that up with DraftKings. The big guy had a golf round. I'll see you Wednesday, 7 p.m. for the Lord's Time Zone emergency stream. Enjoy this outro.